You're watching McKinney Vision. Online, on air.
Government in America was created to represent citizens it serves. At the beginning of the 1990s, there were less than 25,000 people living in McKinney. All that dramatically changed during the next 2 decades, when the population exploded to more than 140,000 people today. The population has not just grown, but shifted in terms of where people live. To fairly and equally represent all citizens, district boundaries were redrawn.
Well, like any major initiative that the city undertakes, we're very interested in citizen input. We had a total of 10 meetings, all publicly held, as well as 1 public hearing where the community was really allowed to bring specific comments forward on the plan as it stood at that point in time. I think it's very important that folks at home know that those public hearings are not just a rubber stamp. The council heard those comments. The council went back and actually changed the redistricting plan as a consequence of those comments. So certainly your voice is heard, and that's just one more indicator of why it's so critically important to make your voice heard, and the easiest way to do that is through voting.
Every 10 years, the census comes out. And so with that, typically in McKinney, every 10 years since the past few decades, the population has significantly increased. And whenever that happens, you want to make sure that the community has an equal representation. And so because McKinney we have districts, and we have 4 different districts, because of that we want to make sure that every district has fairly equal population so that they get the same representation as someone in another district across the city.
True representation is a two-way conversation. Leaders look for feedback to make decisions that accurately reflect citizens' concerns.
The reality is, the city spends approximately $230 million every year. Those funds are generated through a variety of revenue streams, including property taxes. And as a consequence, your vote really does matter, because your vote dictates how those monies are spent, and ensuring that your local officials have a worldview similar to that of the demographic that elected them is critically important.
The best way to see where you vote is on the city's website, where you'll see an interactive map like this one. Just type your address onto the map to find your polling place. Voting is always important, and officials remind citizens that local elections are the fastest way for your voice to be heard. You can help decide where your money is spent and what kind of community you want. Your choices make McKinney one of the best places to live in the world. Amy Rosenthal, McKinney Vision.